Morning, sir.
Good
This
morning,
is
sir.
Paul of us.
Oh, morning, sir. So it's a brand new trading day. Today is the 29th of November, 2020. But today is the last trading day for the month of November. By next Monday, we'll have crossed to December, which will be the last month of the year. Like I always do at the end of the month, I always ask us to appraise ourselves, how our trading activity has been in the course of the month. Normally as a trader, you're expected to have what is called a trading journal. A trading journal is that book where you write your trades, reasons why you're taking your trades, the trades that went successfully and the ones that did not, go through successfully. So over time, you're expected to check through that journal to know the reasons why some trades were successful and the reasons why some were not. And that can help you, to improve on your journey. You know the ones that are not successful, the reasons why they were not successful, and the ones that were successful, reasons why they were successful. So you can, use that information to get better as a trader. Also, by now, you should also have a general review of the year 2024. Have you really made money in Forex this year? If you have, that's quite good. So what did you do right that made you make money rather? And also that can help you to start projecting towards 2025. I tell you that 2025 is just around the corner, just a month to go. We need to start preparing for how to make it a better one, through our trading. Yes, the festive period is here in another 3 weeks and some days. We're going to be having the Christmas. So there's still time for you to make some money, before the Christmas so that you can enjoy a better festive period this year. All right. I just like to do that little talk at the end of the month so that we can really think about what we're doing and how to get better at doing it. So back to our analysis. So fundamentally today we have a tradable fundamental event by 9 a.m. this morning, and that is the GDP. GDP is gross domestic product, and it's coming from Switzerland. Usually this is a tradable news, but then there's a little catch here this morning. This is a medium impact event. Now, medium impact events may not be as volatile as high impact event, but sometimes you never can tell, especially for a normally volatile event like GDP coming as a medium impact. It's a 50-50. It may come out very volatile or it may just be maybe on the average. So we don't know yet. So we still plan. We can, plan ahead to still trade it, if everything goes as planned. Now, for the benefit of those who are new among us, I'll click the details open. So this news measures the change in the inflation adjusted value of all goods and services produced by the economy. And actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. So by 9 o'clock, the forecast is 0.4%. If the actual comes out greater than 0.4, maybe 0.5 and above, it means we're looking at buying the CHF, that's the Swiss franc. And if on the other hand, the actual comes less than the forecast, that is less than 0.4, that's from 0.3, 0.2, 0.1, and so on, then we'll be looking at selling the CHF. And if the actual is greater than the forecast, the color of the data will be in color green. That will tell us we are buying the CHF. And if the actual is less than forecast, the color will be in color red. And that means we'll be selling the CHF. So it's a straightforward event. It's not like you're having multiple news at the same time. It's just one. So let's watch out for it. I'll still take on to the technicals to see what else or how we can still trade it. And by 11 a.m. this morning, there'll be the core CPI flash estimate and CPI flash estimate from the Eurozone. So this will impact upon the Euro peers. We'll look at them also. So again, for this one, if you have a green scenario, that means we are buying the euro. If it comes out as a green, that means the news is good for the euro. Then we are buying the euro. And if it comes out as a red, that means the news is bad for the euro. Then we'll be looking at selling the euro. Okay, then by 12 p.m., Bank of England Governor Bailey will give a speech. So we need to be careful of the pound in the afternoon. Very, very careful, especially as we approach 12 p.m. today. So we have three major tradable events this morning. We have the CHF GDP quarterly, then core CPI flash estimate and CPI flash estimate from the Eurozone. Now, for this CPI from the Eurozone, in reality, it's a medium impact event. But usually when you have two medium impact events, it can be equivalent to, let's say, one high impact event. So notwithstanding that it's a medium impact event, because there are two, high volatility is still expected to happen when this data is released. All right, so that's all for the fundamental. I'll switch over to the technicals. We look at the CHF, we look at the euros, then we'll now look at other technical projections that we have for this morning. So I'm switching over now to my MetaTrader platform. Now for the CHF, I'll be looking at the CAD CHF, the New Zealand CHF, and the Euro CHF. These are three instruments that may likely, react to this news from Switzerland this morning. I'll start with the CAD CHF. Now, this is a CAD CHF. If you go to the daily time frame, we'll see clearly that, price recently hit a support zone, this support zone. And yesterday, price bounced off from that support zone by buying all day long yesterday. Previously, it was a bearish candle, as in earlier in the week. I think this should be Monday. We had a massive bearish candle that touched the trend line. The next day was a bearish candle touching the support, not trend line. Yesterday was a bullish candle indicating a kind of a reversal. That was still from that support zone. Now, going back to 4 hour, this is what I can see here. So you can see that price is trading at that support zone, and this time around it's forming an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which normally should lead to a bullish movement. So if the news, now the focus is the CHF as a base currency, but we're looking at the CAD CHF now to trade. So if the news comes out, bad for the CHF, that is, it comes out as a red, that is what will support a bullish breakout on the CAD CHF. So by 9 o'clock, if you have the data released as actual less than forecast, that is less than the 0.4 with the color red, then that would trigger a bullish, reaction on the CAD CHF. So we are bullish on the CAD CHF ahead of the release of the data. That's the GDP quarterly from the CHF. That's from Switzerland. And also we have the AUD CHF, and it's almost a similar scenario also, because for the AUD CHF, if you go to the daily time frame, you can clearly see that price is in an uptrend, and we can see that there's also a support here. This is a powerful confluence technically to trigger us into a bullish, a strongly bullish movement on the AUD CHF. So if we flip down to 4 hour, we can see here also that we are seeing a pattern that looks like the formation again of an inverse head and shoulder, which is expected to break out, upwards in the bullish direction. So again, if the news comes out bad for the CHF, that is actual less than forecast, that will also trigger a bullish breakout on the AUD CHF. So a bullish both on the CAD CHF and the AUD CHF, with the understanding that the news may come out bad, for the Swiss franc by 9 a.m. And finally, is a pair I've watched all week, but then has not been moving as expected. The volatility has been low. Maybe this is what will trigger it into action, and that is the Euro CHF. Now, for the Euro CHF, I've analyzed this multiple times. The analysis is still the same. We ended up closing last week with a rejection candle here on a support zone. Technically, we are expecting a bullish breakout. We still looked at these instruments by my analysis yesterday afternoon, anticipating a breakout, but, it's been ranging. There has been a range. And I thank God I said yesterday that you are only to buy if price breaks above this minor resistance, which is formed by this the shadows of these candles. But that didn't happen yesterday. So today, if the news again comes out actual less than forecast, then that would trigger. This is really ready to buy. Only the volatility has not been strong enough to push it. So if the news comes out actual less than forecast, then that may trigger the bullish breakout on the Euro CHF. All right, so we are bullish on both the CAD CHF, the AUD CHF, and the Euro CHF ahead of the news, the GDP quarterly from the Eurozone. All right, so we're bullish. So let's take note of that. While we anticipate that the news may come out bad, for the euro. Sorry, bad for the CHF rather. Now, for the euro pairs, we've been bullish on the euro USD. I think I'll just focus on the euro USD for this one. We've been bullish on the euro USD all week because the dollar is technically very bearish. So if the news comes out, good for the euro, then we will really be looking at buying the euro USD if the news comes out bad for the euro, because we have an inverse head and shoulder forming here, which is expected to trigger us into the bullish direction. However, I'm not also neglecting the fact that there's a minor resistance right here. So it can go either ways. This particular news can go either ways. If it comes out good for the euro, trigger a buy. That is a long-term technical direction. But on the other hand, if the news comes out bad for the euro, price may sell. So it may be a short movement, but it will sell if the news comes out bad for the euro. So it can be either ways. But personally, I always like to focus more on the long term. So personally, I'll be looking at the scenario when the news comes out good. But then if it comes out bad, I may just stay on the side because I really don't anticipate it dropping. Though that's not impossible. It may drop to this level or it may just go midway before it reverses. So since I'm not too sure how far it will go, personally, I would just focus on the long term bullish. If it comes out bullish, I'll take it. If it doesn't come out bullish, personally, I will just stay out, because I believe eventually it will still reverse to go in that long-term bullish direction. All right, so that'll be all for my fundamental this morning, fundamental outlook. I'll flip over to technicals now. So we'll have a technical overview of some instruments. Now, like I said, market seems to be gradually, volatility is gradually dropping, so we don't really have much setup like that. But then we have a few which we can still look at and take advantage of to trade the market. And the first one I want to look at is the GBP, the GBP JPY. Now, the GBP JPY has been trending downwards all week, and overnight again, it's made some very sharp drop again. But then I still hold a bullish outlook on this instrument, possibly for today. Now, if you go to the daily time frame, like I'm showing you on the screen, we can see that we have price making a series of higher lows here, then third time here. So technically, we're looking for a bullish opportunity. And not only that, we can also see that we have a valid support zone right here, which will also trigger us into the bullish direction. That's on the daily. So if you go to the 4-hour, it's still very valid. You can see that price currently is trading at that support zone. So we have a support zone and we have a falling wedge and a bullish trend line. So technically, we're still going to look for an opportunity to buy the GBP/JPY, but it's better we flip down to 1 hour because we're doing more of intraday trading. So in the course of today, if price breaks out above this trend line, we'll be looking at buying the GBP/JPY. We're going to be buying the GBP/JPY. Though today being Friday, it's possible price may break out and retest before continuing. That's a possibility. But whichever way it comes out, we're looking at the opportunity of buying the GBP/JPY. So technically, we're bullish on the GBP/JPY. And the same setup is cited, or similar setup is cited on the New Zealand JPY likewise. For the New Zealand JPY again, is the same setup. You can see the trend line going upwards. That's an uptrend line, which is expected to trigger a bullish breakout. Now, we don't have a support zone in this case, unlike the JPY, but then that doesn't mean it's still not valid. So on 1 hour, we have a falling wedge and we are expecting a bullish breakout. Now, there are two ways a bullish breakout may happen. Price may break out outrightly, or price may drop back to this support zone and, trend line. Trend line acting as a support and possibly form a double bottom. That's very possible. So if it forms a double bottom, you don't need to wait for price to break the trend line. You can make entry at the neckline of the double bottom and trigger a buy. And the same thing is applicable to the GBP also. Price may just from that, let me go there again. For the GBP price may just also, you can see that it's trying to range a little on the 1 hour. Price may just drop down again to form the double bottom and break out from there. So it may not need to wait. That's if it forms that way. You may not need to wait for price to break above the trend line. You can just trigger an entry at the break of the neckline, if that is what happens. So either ways, I'm bullish on the New Zealand JPY and the GBP JPY. All right. Now, finally, I'll look at the USD CHF. Like I said, if the news comes for the euro, if the euro news comes out, uh, good for the euro, like I said, we see a long-term bullish movement. But if it comes out bad for the euro, the euro USD, like I said, will sell, and that may trigger a bullish movement on the USD CHF because currently USD CHF is forming a double bottom pattern. This is the neckline. So if for any reason there is a bullish breakout on the USD CHF, it literally means that maybe the Euro USD is going to sell, even though we are bullish on it. But like I said, it's possible it may sell. So if that's what happens, you can trigger a buy on the USD CHF after price breaks out above the neckline. And these lines can be confusing to some of us. So let me just remove all the lines and show us much more clearer. On the daily time frame, price is back to a support level over there. So with the aid of that support, price can really bounce into the bullish direction with this as a double bottom pattern. But don't forget, we're only looking at entry at the break of the neckline. So we're bullish on the USD CHF temporarily, depending on the outcome of what happens on the USD, Euro USD. But then on a very big picture, what I see that may result into is an eventual formation of a head and shoulder on the USD CHF, which may trigger a long-term sell till the end of the year and possibly January. But then that's still long-term, analysis. We are approaching the new year and beginning to have some ideas for what may happen in 2025, and that's what I'm beginning to see gradually. If it buys today, that may form a head and shoulder, and maybe from next week it may trigger a bearish breakout rather, which can lead to hundreds of pips as we end the year and as we approach the new year. But like I said, that's long term. Don't get us bothered about that. What we're concerned for now about now is for today. So we are temporarily bullish on the USD CHF, for today. All right, so I've given us three outlook of three instruments this morning, which you can look at technically. And that's we're bullish on the New Zealand JPY, we're bullish on the GBP JPY, and we're bullish on the USD CHF. And for the news, for the CHF news, we're bullish on the CAD CHF, AED CHF, Euro CHF, as we anticipate that the news may come out, bad for the CHF for us to trigger a buy on these three instruments. And for the Euro news, on the long term, we're bullish on the Euro USD. If the news comes out, actual greater than forecast or good for the Euro. And the news comes out bad for the Euro, like I said, the Euro USD may sell, though we are looking more at the bigger picture. But whichever way it comes, we are free to trade it. Okay, so that'll be all from my end this morning. I'll take a few instruments and we'll close for the day. We have our timer already triggered. We need to be through in some few minutes. All right, so Ukeme Isong, pardon me if I didn't pronounce it well, is asking me to check GBP USD, Justin Oche Gold, Augustine Sunday Euro AUD. All right, so I'll start with the GBP USD. Now, we are still technically bullish on the anti-dollar pairs because dollar overall is still bearish, all things being equal. So let's look at the GBP USD. So this GBP USD, I said yesterday that we hold a bullish outlook. We have a falling wedge and like an inverse head and shoulder is forming. Technically, on the long term, we still have a bullish outlook on the GBP USD on the 4-hour. Now, however, I will not also neglect the fact that today is Friday. I've seen it happen many times. When for the better part of the week, an instrument buys, sometimes, I'm not saying it's a rule, on Fridays, it may experience a decline. So technically, I'm long-term bullish, but then the effect of the news today will determine what eventually happens to the pound. But technically, I'm bullish on the GBP USD. Then Justin Uche is asking about gold. Okay, we don't have a dollar news today. Okay, the news in the afternoon is CAD. Wow. Okay, that means we need to be very careful with gold. Yeah, I know I gave a bullish outlook for gold for the week, but currently I'm not seeing any entry possibility. It's looking bullish, but you don't take a trade on this looking bullish. Currently, I'm not seeing any entry. But what I can advise is this: price recently broke this resistance here. If price retraces back to retest this, previous resistance as a support, then you can trigger a buy. That's all I can say about gold for now, except there's any further change. Because currently it's not in a signal zone at the moment. But if price retraces and retests, then we can have a continuation on gold. Euro AUD. Now the truth is that Euro AUD is looking like it's forming a head and shoulder, which technically would trigger it downwards. But the other side of it is, according to my own trading rules, I'm not seeing an additional filter for it, maybe like a resistance, or something. I'm not really seeing. So that's why I'm a bit very, very cautious. I can't see a trend line. I can't see a resistance. I can't see anything. But in real sense, it looks like it's forming a head and shoulder on the 4-hour, which may trigger a bearish trade. But notwithstanding, let's flip down to 1 hour and see if there's any other addition to that. Currently, I'm not really citing anything. But then, okay, let's see, we have a rising wedge pattern. This is a valid rising wedge. All right. So this is how we look at the Euro AUD. We have a rising wedge and we have a support. All right. So if price breaks out below this support, you can trigger a sell on the Euro AUD. So that's what I can say for now. We have a valid rising wedge and we have a valid support level. So if a new candle opens below this support, with your RSI clearly below 50. Okay, RSI is even already below 50. It's on 46. So yeah, let's just wait for that to happen for you to trigger a sell on the Euro AUD. So we have a bearish outlook on the Euro AUD. AUD USD. Please don't stay out of this guy for now. You can see it's been all ranging. It's been ranging all week. So I will advise you to stay out of AUD USD for now. There's no clear setup on it. All right, so I've attended to all the questions we have here. So that'll be the end of this analysis this morning. If in the course of the day we see, already mature signals, definitely we'll drop for you. For this morning session, we don't have at the moment. All right, so take care and trade safe and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you too. Have a nice weekend.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Have a good week.